guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So this is something I was kind of thinking about, and I remember having these conversations on like social media platforms and stuff about the Intellivision, especially back when things like the Amico were being introduced, and you know, people were talking about this a little bit more. But I'm more on the original Intellivision, and I was thinking about this, like what would make a great I guess, you know, iconic character who represents the Intellivision. Now, obviously we have the Running Man, which is their logo thing, and he's not really a character. I mean, they call him the Running Man because he's always running, but there's, you know, I think that we could actually have something better. So, obviously this first one I was thinking about was Peter Pepper. Now, obviously this is Burger Time, and it's on a lot of platforms. It was originally an arcade game. But I think the Intellivision version is, if not the one of or the best port of this game. And I'm not the only one that says that. I mean, I've heard it a few times already from other people who say that they think that this is the best port. And if you do compare it to some of the earlier systems, I think they all have their own little issues. The Atari one, it's very difficult, I think, to understand what's going on and play it. The character doesn't move as well. And in this one, you know, even though the Intellivision is not really known to be the best system for platforming, this one really, you know, I guess it proved that it could be a pretty decent platforming machine if done properly. And of course this has like some of the better music as well. So I think, you know, Peter Pepper really did define this system and would make a great mascot if, you know, back in the day. Now, I believe he did, for the Intellivision 2, when it was marketed, I believe it did come packaged with Burger Time. Maybe there was like a few variants, I'm not sure. Whereas the original Intellivision was packaged with poker and blackjack. Not exactly the most exciting game for kids to want to play, but you know, they came out at different times, so it makes sense. I'm going to go back to the menu screen here, playing this on my LTO flash card. Another one I was thinking of, if I can find it here. Well, you know, I guess this guy could have. He's our friendly dealer who makes all the funny faces. And I was just talking about this game, the poker and blackjack. You know, I think I only played this just to get that guy to make funny faces. I didn't really care too much about the game itself. I probably didn't even know how to play half of the games. But I think he's a pretty common figure when used with Intellivision. I think people, they kind of gravitate towards that dealer on you know, poker and blackjack, and I believe he was supposed to be on other games. I don't know if he actually made it onto other games, but there was a few other types of games. Another one I wanted to kind of throw in there, which is always a you know, a popular title for the Intellivision, is Night Stalker. Now, this guy does kind of look like he is the Running Man, essentially. I don't know if he has a name. I should look in the manual, actually. Maybe there is a name for this guy. But I think that Night Stalker, I think this is a game that had a lot of potential and, you know, could have had some sequels going on and stuff. As I mentioned earlier, the Intellivision Amico, I think I mentioned that. This was one of the games that they were going to redo, essentially, and they showed screenshots and gameplay of it. I don't know if the game came out or got released, but I think this game really does kind of, you know, it was a popular game back in its day, and I think anybody that had an Intellivision had this game. So if this guy has any kind of presence or name, I think he could have done a pretty good job on that. As that robot goes mental. Let's see if we can find something else. You know, this is just a thought experiment, I guess. See, we had Royal Dealer, but that didn't have the that dealer guy. I guess we could also talk about brands that would have really, you know, stuck with the system, and that would have been Tron. There was a few Tron games. Of course, Tron Deadly Discs, I think was my favorite one. You know, so you can have a brand identity there with Tron. Just love how these sound effects are. The only thing I don't like about this game is having to use the keypad. But as I said, Tron had a few. Oops, not holding it down long enough. Tron had a few. Like there's Mazatron. Oops, that's not it. I went into the wrong menu there. How far down did I go? I can't tell. There it is. There was Mazatron and Tron Solar Sailor. Mazatron's kind of a hard one. Never got the hang of this game. But I think this was a franchise that even, you know, I guess today it's owned by Disney, or maybe it always was owned by Disney. But I always thought this game looked cool. I'm just not any good at it. And of course there's also the Tron, so oops, keep pushing the wrong button here. Tron Sailor Solar.
Electronics presents Tron.
This was the only IntelliVoice game I didn't have when I was a kid too. I don't know if I would have played it much though. It seems really confusing to me.
73535.
But it's cool that it uses the IntelliVoice. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've ever played this game before. I know it got re-released.
Get off.
It got re-released as the IntelliVoice anthology, and I think they might have even tweaked it a little bit. But I guess the other one that I would probably want to say would be a great franchise to represent the Intellivision. If I scroll all the way back up here, is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Now, this is the Treasure of Tarman. This is more of your, you know, yeah, dungeon crawler type of game, much like the Cloudy Mountain, which I think is my favorite one. I never got into too much of these dungeon crawler style games, but I know some people prefer them and they like them. A lot of people say they like this one better because there's more adventure to it. There's more action to this game, like you have to do a lot more than the original one. But in my opinion, I still like the Cloudy Mountain. I don't know if that's under... I don't know where it ended up. Not sure. Deadly Discs? Maybe it's under... There it is. This one. This was always my favorite one. I played this a lot when I was a kid. And, you know, I always associated the Dungeons & Dragons brand at the time with my Intellivision because of this game. Obviously, it's a much bigger game than that. I mean, it started off all being, you know, role-playing games and slowly moved its way into the video game world. Oh, I'm just being eaten by a snake. This is another one that has the same kind of controls as the Deadly Discs, where you got to use the keypad to fire and not just point in a direction and hit a fire button. So, unless you're paying attention to the keypad. And I'm using the long play controller here, so it's a little bit different. The commands and all that stuff. Get me some arrows. Gonna shoot me a snake. Oh! I just got nailed. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today on this video. Was just thinking about what would be a great mascot for the Intellivision. I'd like to hear what you have to say. I know there's a lot of choices here. A lot of different games came out. And, you know, a lot of different characters. So it's I'm sure you might have something different than my ideas. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Hope you subscribe. I'll talk to you later.